resistance to white domination was on the cutting edge of the civil rights movement. In October 1970, Ali was allowed to return to boxing, but his skills had eroded. On March 8, 1971, he challenged Joe Frazier, who had become heavyweight champion during Ali's absence.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC.
Hello, folks. Good evening. Welcome to another program in the series, Journalist Hangout. Apologies, we are starting a little behind schedule, but I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Now, today on the program, President of Association of Bureau de Change of Nigeria vows to check excesses of BDC operators, attack on Naira, and later on we'll share this with you. NAAT proposes 350,000 Naira minimum wage, cites inflation and economic hardship. Let me report as well, I'm hanging out with Asukwa James. Asukwa, I greet you. Good evening to you. And we are joined by Chris Kende Wandu. Chris,
it's nice to be here.
To you.
It's nice to be here. Citizen.
All right. So the team is ready. I hope you are. Okay, let's go. You know, parenting is a complex endeavor. It's a balancing act between love and responsibility. Many parents, though, do not balance well, so they go overboard sometimes. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAM, has hinted of the arrest of a father and his son by the police. The father reportedly impersonated the son during the ongoing Unified Tertiary Matriculation Exam, UTME. JAM Registrar Professor Ishaq Oloyede disclosed this frightening misconduct while on an inspection tour of UTME centers in Kaduna. Now, this misdemeanor, I dare say, has been a long time coming, Asukwa.
Yeah, exactly, Citizen. This is not the first time that we are hearing this. I know so many parents who indulge in such, nefarious acts, trying to write exams for their children. It's just a pity that parents who are supposed to be guardians to their children, as role models to their children,
are indulging them.
Are the ones indulging the children.
Some say in the name of love.
No, this kind of you can't teach your children, or you say you love your child in such a manner. You know, if you want your child to become a superstar, or the Bill Gates of this world, or the Jeff Bezos of this world, or whoever that is making and doing great things in this world, you should be able to, model them in such a way that they won't be cheats.
Okay. Okay.
Because from what the father, that man has done, is to feel that, okay, you can get away with anything you want.
I hear he's a guest of the police now.
Yes. Just imagine, both of them are in custody. So the father, the son are in custody, in police custody. Now, what will the father be telling the child inside the himself?
Maybe we'll be telling him about these new lessons he's learning.
Which is, okay, it is wrong for you to do this. And that is why it moves me straight into how most parents are also even encouraging their children to go into Yahoo and so many other things, just for them to either make money. Because one person is driving a big car.
Asukwa, years ago, if you
and
brought
then from there
if you brought something new to the house, you were going to explain.
You will explain. It is like writing exam again in the house. You know, because you will explain and explain and explain. But if you know our parents then, they will not take that.
You were not spared.
Go back. They'll flog you first.
Yeah.
Then tell you to go back and return it. You know. But these days, I don't know what has happened. It's as if the AI parents now are not.
Asukwa, let me drop this here. Many years ago, 50 kobo was a note, 5 shillings.
Yeah.
It was a note. I saw it on the floor on my way to market. CK, I took it home, showed my mother, and my mother constrained me to return it. Go return them. You don't know, say then they turn people to goat and all that.
Yes. No.
So since then, I never found anything on the floor.
And pick.
I don't pick them. I pick it.
You know, but these days, I don't know why parents will just encourage their children to go into acts that are not. One you can't even sound it out.
CK, sometimes when you hear, which I go through, make my children no suffer. What crosses your mind?
Well, that is when it comes to abject poverty. But even in the midst of poverty, some parents were still very proud of themselves.
Exactly.
Because they didn't saw themselves, they didn't saw their hands in some of these shenanigans that most of our youth find themselves now. When we are growing up, we are being told that good name
is better than
gold
and silver.
And all the riches. But today parents are telling you that money is far better than any other.
Yeah.
They don't even care. You see a child of how many years driving a vehicle, and the next thing is, they are hailing him, or he's a superstar. The parents will not ask. I remember, since you are talking of yours, I remember what happened to me. As far back as 1994. Yes, 1994. In 1994, by 1994, I was the artist and promotions manager of Sony Music Nigeria.
Okay.
And by then, I was still relative, at least I should be making some money. Whatever happened, I was able to get little money. And I bought a car. And I brought it home. I was living with my parents in Ojota, Kujore Ojota. I thought that my dad would be so happy with me. I brought it home. My dad asked me, where did you get the money? You just started work about 2 years ago. How did you get the money to buy? I tried to explain. The next thing I told me is that, so you didn't know that you were supposed to get a home of your own first. So this vehicle that you're bringing now, in whose compound are you going to park it? That is the level of, the way our parents brought us up. And this is not, what is happening is nothing new. Are you not aware that most parents now pay school authorities for special centers?
Yeah, I hear that.
I'm sure you must have heard that.
And that's a crazy indulgence.
Most of them now pay for WAEC, for their children to be taken to a special center where they write WAEC. Some of them employ people to write for them. The same thing with JAM.
So not be today.
So not be today is nothing new. Is it not in this same country that we're talking about JAM about last year or 2 years ago, that this young girl forged her JAM results?
Mesoma?
And it was a big case.
Yeah.
And even the cost of that, some people were hailing and supporting that girl.
Her.
Some even said that they're going to get her an admission, get admission abroad. If you understand. And the girl, they continued to ask her, you say, no, that is that. Even the parents supported her. Until JAM came out to say, this is the evidence we have. And she owned up. Even after owning up, some people are still supporting. I know the government, is she the only one that is corrupt? Is the only that what of those at the National Assembly?
Yeah.
And that has always been the narrative here.
Yeah.
When somebody is caught, instead of us taking action against the person, people will remind you that it's not the first person.
Not the first.
Now, be the first person wearing this thing. That is the problem we're having. So what we're having is that our societal value, as it were, has totally been eroded.
Are we in a mess?
We are in a mess.
Yeah.
We're in a terrible mess. Because my heart bleeds the kind of future leaders we're going to have. You know, they continue to say, not too young to run, not too young to run. You will come to see that even the young ones that have been given the opportunity to run, they are not only running, they are racing and they're crossing across the line.
Running and
they are running and roasting.
And causing accidents.
We have a classic example. In the last dispensation, the youngest governor in Nigeria, everybody was looking up to. You see what is happening now? EFCC this, he said this, he sent on realms of allegations. There have been instances where we have given so many young people as well the opportunity. And that's why I've always said, it's not how old you are, for goodness sake. How old is Joe Biden? Joe Biden is about 82 years. The president of the United States is not performing. He's performing. They will say, oh, look at Macron. Oh, look at Ghana, Senegal. I say it is not the same. It is not about the person. It's not about the age. It's about the person.
Yeah.
When you give people responsibility to be able to let them. So I hope that the register of JAM didn't mention the name. He also went ahead to say that in as much as he was in Kaduna, he was speaking in Kaduna, that it didn't happen in Kaduna. But we want to see this person. We want to see this man. So that we can use him to set example. For goodness sake. He cannot continue. You know the problem here? Those that have advantage of going to take JAM and school start with their own brain, they don't have the opportunity of going into the higher institution. Because some people have shortchanged this process and making sure that their children get higher scores. And that is part of the problem we are having. So our education system is so that, and we continue to talk about the university. You look at, you say that the people are graduate citizens. You see most Nigerian university graduates. So they can, most of this young girl can't speak, cook, just simple. You go for an interview, just invite them for an interview. You'll be shocked by what is coming out of their mouth, and you continue to ask, what is happening? Our education system continues to go down. Not only that, even in the universities, even the so-called universities, lecturers are doing worse. You saw the one that happened in University of Nsukka a few days ago, where a lecturer was trying to run him, somebody, and he was caught in the act. It's a really mess.
And I felt diminished when I was told the man was from my state.
Oh.
Okay,
okay, from your state, two of you. Yeah, it's from your state. It's your townsman.
Okay, no vex.
So. I know vex. I'm just
that is ethnic profiling. Well, see, I think what we should also look at is the moral decadence. Is appalling now.
Apart from that, parenting is taking a turn for the worse.
It has taken a backseat completely. Parents do not even know what most of their children are doing. They have left parenting to teachers as well as ourselves.
Yeah.
I went to my children's PTA recently, and that was what all parents were practically saying. The chairman was, sometimes he goes to the school and he sees how, children, go about doing things that they are not supposed to do in school. And at the end of the day, what came to my mind was that it is the parents who are not actually looking at what their children are doing. Because if you are looking at what your child is doing, because some parents, they derive joy in giving their children Android phones for them to sleep with, but they don't know what they are doing with it.
Yeah.
It starts from there. Because there's nothing you want in this world that you can't find in different apps.
And they call it love.
They call it love, but it is not. Yeah. Because if the parents who are living, abdicating their duties to ourselves and to teachers, if their parents taught them or trained them that way, I'm not sure they will be like that.
Yeah.
So I feel this is an example.
Okay.
And it should serve as an example for all parents. Don't do your child's work now. Let the child work hard, read hard, burn that candle, and so that when he's growing up, he will know the essence of success.
Okay. Let's go to our next story. A word we're told is enough for the wise. Now to our next story. In law, ex parte refers to motions for orders that can be granted without waiting for a response from the other party or side. Recall that the Supreme Court and Chief Justices had consistently maintained that ex parte orders must be used sparingly to avoid abuse. Now, Senate President Godswill Akpabio, himself a lawyer, has urged the National Judicial Council, NJC, to check the excesses of judges who misuse ex parte orders. He has called for the integration of technology in Nigeria's justice system, noting that like in other sectors, technology can be used to harness the nation's justice sector to curb delays and backlogs. Being experienced currently, Asukwa, Chris Wandu is a lawyer, so he knows what we are talking about here. Expert emotions.
Yes, I totally agree with the Senate President on this. It's obvious that most of our judges, for whatever reason, try to misuse the power given them. It has been said time and time again that after God, judges somehow are the next God.
And referees.
Yes, and referee. Yes, no, even referee is still okay, but that of judge, a referee cannot sentence somebody to death. A judge can sentence somebody.
A referee can sentence a game to death for you.
Yeah, it's a game. I'm talking of human life. I'm talking of human life.
Okay.
I'm talking of human life.
Okay.
Somebody will say, you are hereby sentenced to death.
Yeah.
You'll be hanged until your leg begins shake. You know, and that is it. If it's the final court, which is the Supreme Court, that is it. Except we are granted pardon by either the governor or the president, as it were. So most often that our judges try to use it. And the classical example, I'm sure why the Senate President is saying this, is because what just happened between Ganduje and the local APC within his words, where a judge granted an ex parte order without listening to the other party, let's get something wrong.
It does not need to listen.
No, it does. That's what I'm saying. Let's get something right. There is no, within the law, when it comes to ex parte order, the court does not necessarily need to wait for the other party. The essence of an ex parte motion is to be able to prevent somebody from an injurious action.
Okay.
If you understand. Let me give you a classical example, citizen. If the local government in your house decide to come and demolish your house, and they've been given an order that your house will be demolished tomorrow, okay? And you know that you have all the necessary papers in place, including your CFO approval and the rest of them. And you know that if you don't do anything, they will come and demolish that house.
Yeah.
You run to the court and ask a judge to give you an ex parte order, putting a stop, a temporary
binding on
the authority that don't do what you want to do tomorrow.
Okay.
Come before me and prove that what he did was wrong. That order must be obeyed. And it's supposed to last for 7 days, 14 days. But do you know what some judges have done now? They have extended it to about 28 days. Some as far as even months. And say this is wrong. So you see a situation where something will happen in Abia. Somebody will go to Medugri to go and get an ex parte order. It's not possible. So, and what I know about this is that there is always an undercurrent endorsement and inducement of the judges.
Okay. By
the person that is seeking the order, by actors within the case. And they play political actors. Not only political actors. When you are saying it's not only political actors, it's only political actors that get this. There have been instances where some individuals, corporate entities, and the rest of them have gone to court. And what he's saying in essence, no, this must not continue. And it is things, and I think it is high time that the NJC, who is the supervising authority of this judges, make an example of 1 or 2 judges.
Yeah. Okay.
Because if we don't, and we continue to, this is not the first time. Several times this has happened. And eyebrows have been raised, and now the judge has now lifted the order. But if there was some colossal damage would have been done to the individual in place. So those are the issues. So it's not like, it is part of the law. It is part of our law. But the problem is that how do we use it? How effectively do those judges use those? They are recklessly using it in a way and manner that is not, it's not good enough.
Asukwa, the judiciary can help out there.
Yes, that is why the NJC is there. Not to talk of what Akpabio said, that, okay, they should just look, the NJC should look into it and all that. Politicians will always want to look at the loopholes and then find how they will always use. And that is why they are using some of these judges, for their own gains and their own benefits, So where the NJC is supposed to come in is to say, because in 2018, Justice Karafati, the Abu Karafati, Kafarati actually, sent a memo out banning even justice and judges from, giving ex parte motions.
Yeah.
And since then, the thing came down a bit, but right now I think it's now a norm. Somebody will stay in Abia, he will go to Kebbi to go and collect ex parte motions.
But the situation is not helped by lawyers.
No, of course, no. It is. You won't blame a lawyer. A lawyer is like somebody who is looking for a job. If he comes to you and says, if you go to him and say, "Guy, I want this to be done. I'm in trouble. Can you help me? Is it possible?" I'm not sure there's any lawyer that will say no. He will say, "Okay, I will find a way around it." And that is what the same thing that
let me ask him, is it true?
He will always find a way around it. Except maybe he has a conscience.
Citizen.
Yes.
During our school days, we are told that there's no case that a lawyer cannot take.
Okay.
There's no case. It is just, there's always...
Are you saying a lawyer cannot see that a case will get nowhere?
No, let me
If you go to police station, you always have...
Let me land on this. There have been instances where the lawyer would tell his client, this is the likely outcome of this issue.
This is a bad case. Or
The client...
it's a bad case.
He can even tell you that he can always tell you that, this is a bit tricky. And I may advise you that don't go this way or let us. The client will say, let us go ahead. You understand what I mean? Then you, as a lawyer, what do you do? But even at that, what I'm saying in essence is that there's no, even an armed robber that is caught with a gun is still taken as being innocent
until proven
guilty. That is the law. If you have any evidence between you to show that this person, you call this person in the act, is still a suspect. That's why we use the word suspect. So most of these issues is that, so it goes beyond the lawyer. Yes, the lawyer has to be paid, of course. A lawyer, why did he go to law school? Why did he go to read law? FCC and the rest. So there have been instances you see them taking certain cases to court. And at the end of it all, they've come to look at the one that happened to Adoke. Where at the end of it all, EFC they were the one that took the case to court. Only for them to say they don't have enough evidence. So what are we talking about? So, but let's just not lose the focus on this issue.
Yeah.
That is the issue of this
ex parte
motions and other that these judges, and it's normally, it's always one, especially those within the High Court. It is always the High Court. Most often, those orders are not given, mostly given by Court of Appeal. It's always the High Court. High Court at the state and also federal level.
Yeah.
And something has to be done. The chief judges of the states, that of the federal High Court, as well as the NJC, can do something about it. And I continue to say that until we make example of people, shame them, then this thing will not stop. Because it is just easier for anybody to say, warn and say, nobody should do that. But if we have not brought anybody, we'll dismiss. Not only dismissing, prosecute. Because what we normally see NJC doing is that they'll just dismiss the person. But if we can dismiss and also prosecute them. There was some time ago that I remember a federal high court, about 1 or 2 federal high court judges were prosecuted. They were, yes. I don't want to mention their names. I know of a woman, a very, very high top federal high court judge. She's from River State. That she was prosecuted, although at the end of it, here and there, she was let off the hook. But we must continue to make it, because whatever action they take can be so destructive.
The trouble is giving them soft landings. When you give an accused a soft landing, you are not punishing.
That's what I'm saying.
No, of course. Who gives the soft landing? It's the judge that gives the soft landing. But we are talking about this ex parte order, and I think the NJC has a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
Because if not, it will continue. I just remember during the 1993 June 12 It was an ex parte order that almost truncated the democracy.
You say almost truncated or
Oh, you understand? So
you forgot the days of ABN.
Yeah, because ABN.
Forgot
They
the days
went
of
for an
ABN.
ex parte order
And got it.
and got it. You know,
Nzeribe
so,
and,
yes, Otto
the other guy.
Nzeribe, you know. So it was ex parte order that almost stopped the election. That they are still running.
And the Senate
it took a decree then, Decree 13 of
Yeah.
1993 for NEC to go back to the election and say, no,
Yeah.
we have to continue with the election.
You know, the Senate president is talking about a backlog and long delays. Do you know so many cases are in courts dating back to the year 2000?
Yes.
2000. When you're talking of 2000, that be cases that let me tell you a classical example. Before you can get your case heard at the Supreme Court now, it will take not less than a year. Supreme Court. There have been so many cases, piling cases in some of them. And the same thing. The only solution is what Lagos State have started.
Okay.
Technology.
Technology.
What Lagos have done is computerize their system. Lagos State Judicial is still the best in the country now. And I believe that other states can follow suit.
Yeah.
And that is why the dispensation of justice, and that is why we have to thank and praise successive governors in Lagos State, starting from Asiwaju to Fashola, to Ambode, and to the current governor. They've done so much for the judiciary.
Yeah.
But in some other states, you will surprise citizens that you go to court, as you're talking, the judge is
still
writing
writing.
everything that you say. Every single thing that you say, the judge must, if you say, please, hold on, he or she will write in every single, in these days of AI.
All right. So that's the story. We hope whoever is concerned will take heed. Now let's go on the commercial break. We'll be back shortly. Please don't go away. This is Journalist Hangout on TVC.
New beginnings are always colorful. When we celebrate the start of life's journey, we marry in colors. With our proudly Nigerian Dulux paints, now available in any color. Express your world however you want it. Visit a Dulux Color Center to get any color instantly.
Dulux, let's color.
I actually came to pay the money for the recruitment consultancy you did for my company.
Beautiful.
I took 2 million.
Just hold on. I now collect dollars.
What?
Yes. I don't understand what's happening to Naira these days. So it's going to be 2 million times today's exchange rate.
Doctor, wait. Doctor, wait. Don't tell me you are one of those people who directly put pressure on the Naira and make it lose its value. You want to dollarize our economy and yet you pretend as if you don't know what is happening to the Naira. I've told you about how you abuse the Naira by spraying and stamping on it during your occasions. You deface and abuse the Naira as if it's not our national asset.
But Chief, take it easy.
How? I will not take it easy. And neither will the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission Task Force on Currency Abuse and Forex Malpractice take it easy with you. They are coming for you. Desist from economic sabotage or you will face the wrath of the law.
Voted as the best TV station of the year. TVC News breaks into the core of every event.
All right, then, welcome back. So we go straight to our next story. Now, in the fight to defend the national currency, the Naira, all hands must be on deck. And so the Association of Bureau de Change Operators of Nigeria, APCON, it has joined the fray. Its president, Aminu Gwadabe, has reiterated the operators' commitment to defending the Naira from attack by speculators. According to Gwadabe, the association, as a self-regulatory body, has platforms to check the excesses of BDC operators. As far as it is concerned, state chapters of the body are supposed to keep tabs on operators, thereby giving them a simple registration for the Naira. For the Naira, help is on the way, I dare say. Also, it seems, Asokwa.
Well, it seems so, but I know that I think it has gotten is now like almost 1,003 or 2. You know, before I know, like 2 weeks ago, we are all celebrating that it's gotten to 1,010, 1,021 or thereabout. Why? Because the CBN even recently sold to them, to the BDCs, at 1,021 per dollar. You know, but apparently there are some people who don't like this country. I remember when the thing was 1,800 per dollar, some people were celebrating, citizens, that, this country, things will be bad, blah, blah, blah. Even a man of God even said, you don't say anything. It will get to 2,000. I have never seen a country where people celebrate the downfall of their own country. They don't, anything that, because I don't just understand. Things are getting difficult, but people are happy. Meanwhile, they are also suffering inside, though. They are suffering inside. So for the BDCs, there are some people who feel that they are not getting enough based on what the CBN has brought out. The CBN is giving you opportunity. It says, okay, fine, I'm giving you this at 1,200 or 1,021. And then you can make money when you are getting from the end user at 1.5%. Even if you are getting a fraction and they are giving you, this is raw cash they are giving you, you sell and you make your cash. You make your own gain. But some people are circumventing the whole process. They will still want to go out and try to see how they can, because when somebody is asking, I want to travel, for instance, I'm looking for maybe $20,000. And CBN knows that, okay, fine, you can't give me more than 10,000. But you are insisting that it has to be you that you have to go elsewhere to go and get your own. So people are going outside trying to make sure that you go all out to make sure you get it at any cost for your clients. So if you go to another person, the person will say, well, I can't sell it at 1,021 or 1,040 for you, just like CBN, or how much usually you are supposed to sell. I'm going to sell at 1,002 or 1,100 because you are desperate. So that is what is causing this problem now. These sharp practices. And the BDC president or the chairman, the president, is now saying that they need to also do which is the most important thing. They must also look at their members and see the members that are causing problem for those who are genuine members. Because some people, you feel that they are genuine, they have the interest of the country, but they don't. People just want to feel that, okay, how it was in the past, it should continue. But I have never seen such a set of people, human beings, before. Why other people are planning, bringing policies that would match up to how people are supposed to, get things done in the proper way. Some people will just be somewhere, throw the spanner in the works, and then everything would be destroyed. So for the BDCs, because it brought another idea, which is going to verify the offices of some of these BDCs. And I think it's important. Because I see some people just staying outside, selling dollar. No. If you go abroad, there's no how you will sell dollar on the street, for crying out loud. If you want cash,
nowhere to go.
You know where to go. It's either you go to the ATM, and even for you to even get their ATM, it's not easy.
Asoko, to think that this same naira we are bastardizing today used to be a currency of choice years ago. You didn't need, you could take the naira out those days. And exchange at the other end.
Yes, it's true.
But now you can't do that anymore.
CK, the permanent solution to this thing would be to make sure we go into an aggressive production as a country. If we produce goods and services and earn foreign exchange, our currency will show up in value and we can save the naira. Otherwise, whatever we do now is a stopgap.
Yes, it's more of a shortgap and also just trying to curry the problem as it is. what we are doing now is just trying to manage the crisis as it were. But the long-term solution is what you said. There's no way we can be able to deal with this issue if we are not doing what we're supposed to do. And I've said it time and time again. Number one is the trouble of our production line, exports. And primarily, what is our major export? Crude oil.
Yeah.
Now, it is being said that we're hearing that we are not even meeting our OPEC quota. The level of theft going on within the Niger Delta is still very, very high. So if you cannot be able to meet your quota, the basic quota, then we're going to run into problem because close to about 80% of our foreign earnings comes from oil. Now, we're not producing enough. At a point, we are saying, oh, okay, let the refinery start working. God willing, we'll stop buying petroleum products from abroad. That will also showing some kind of cash for us, liquidity. But look at, news broke some weeks back that even Dangote refinery is about to import crude oil from the United States.
Yeah, it's doing so at the moment.
So what are we talking about? So we don't even have enough product locally that can even service our local refineries. Then what are we doing? If the Port Harcourt refinery comes on stream as the government promised, although this was promised about
Chris, months back, we can take advantage of in there.
That is why diversification.
Yeah.
Diversification.
We remain the #1 producer of cassava in the whole world. And I hear
let me shock you. Let me shock you. I just came back from a retreat from the annual conference week of Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, of which I'm a member, in Ogun State. It started on Monday. It's ending today. I came back because of this program. I was shocked when the governor of Ogun State, Dr. Abiodun, who was a guest at the program, told us that Ogun State produced the highest number of cassava in the whole world. I'm quoting him. He said that, and I was shocked. Cassava, I remember in those days that we used to export palm products, palm oil,
from Malaysia,
cocoa. People came from Malaysia and took our palm front, took it to Malaysia, and now we are importing
from there.
So
unashamedly.
Well, do you know that China are producing gari and bringing to Nigeria? Are you aware? Maybe you are not aware. But let us not focus on what we are discussing. I believe that the BDCs, we play a very, very vital role on the issue of Naira, dollar. When we talk of, we always say dollar. I don't like using just dollar, because dollar is not the only foreign currency. We are talking of the euro. We are talking of the pounds. We are talking of the yen. These are currencies that heavy currencies that if I'm going to, most often if I'm going to China, I don't think I'm going to take in, I want to get dollars. I want to buy yen. In Canada, they don't use American dollar. That's what is called Canadian dollar.
Yeah.
That is what is spent in Canada. But a situation, just as Asuko said, I have never seen anywhere, any international airport or anywhere in the world that I've been to, and I see people are coming out of the airport, and people are telling you, even in Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, I was at AFCON, and I had dollars. I want to change to local, and I thought I would get that. They said no.
No, they'll tell you where to go.
Tell you to go to the bureau de change and do that. And before you do that, they ask for your passport.
Yes.
That is how it is done. Why is it our own is so different that even an average person that did not even go to school, you see him holding dollars and say, dollar. Just on the, go to, a popular place now, at airport here, hotel here. And what is, let me even tell you the other side of it. It has gotten so bad now that some of these people are even selling fake dollars to Nigerians. I heard of a case last week where somebody bought about $500 to travel with, only to get to the airport and realize that they were fakes. So it is a big problem. The federal government, the CBN, could do fantastic. The CBN governor, we must thank him for what he's doing. Because I was one of those that was so skeptical when this issue started coming and the kind of policies was rolling out. We have moved from 1.8 to almost 1.9 to about 1,000. But as of yesterday, I heard that dollar has risen to about 1,350. That means something is also fundamentally wrong somewhere, and that needs to be checked. Somebody told me that one of the reasons why we're able to get to the route we got was, apart from shoving pushing in more dollar, it's also the decision that was taken by the CB and the federal government on Binance.
Binance, very important.
But I've been told there's another Binance. I don't know whatever they call it, PP something that they just do, that is also out now, that the government has to be very, very careful. I hope the central bank is also out.
Because they are speculators. They are the ones speculating.
All these guys are speculators. And they'll just look at, there are some people that just sit down, what they do is on a daily basis, buy up the dollar. There are some people that have so much money, even in government, even our leaders. Some of them go to Abuja, collect the state, collect the annual this thing, go to their state, just pay small salary, they convert it to dollars, and that's how we are. That is why
and wait for it to rise.
Of course now, so that they can make money. Also the banks. You can hardly go to some banks now that you say you want to travel. You know, in those days, if you want to travel, they say go to your bank, present your visa.
All right.
Visa and all that.
You can't even get that.
Okay. Let's move to our next story. But the national currency, the Naira, needs all the help it can get now. I think so. You know, the minimum wage debate is an interminable one, if you ask me, with the suggestions coming from every angle. Organized labor is still trifling with it, hoping that it and government could meet somewhere in the middle. The National Association of Academic Technologists, NAAT, has thrown its hat in the ring for the ongoing national minimum wage debate. It's therefore proposing a staggering 350,000 Naira monthly wage for Nigerian workers. And so the question is this rational and is it sustainable? CK.
Well, before anybody can ask for anything. But the reality, you have to look at the reality on ground. When you say, most people don't understand, when you say minimum wage, you have to understand that minimum wage means those at level 1.
One to, I think
about 6 or 8. Yeah. About 1 to 6, 7. Yes. That is what we're talking about. Then it continues to graduate. So it's 350. So if somebody within that age, so we're talking about somebody that is about 9, 10, to maybe to start getting something higher, then it gets to 14, 15. But the question we need to ask ourselves is that the 35,000, or is it 30,000? Is it 30,000 or 35? I don't even understand again.
30.
No. 30. The current minimum wage. The current minimum wage is 30,000. Do you know how many states that are able to pay?
Are not able to pay.
In fact, I learned that some states are still paying 7,000.
Some 18,000.
7,000, some paying 18,000. But there's something that came up this today, and it's a governor of Lagos State, and I continue to come back to Lagos, maybe people feel Lagos has money. The governor of Lagos State has said today, I think it's today, yes, I'm quoting him now, saying that nobody receives any less than, I think about 65 or 70,000 as minimum wage in Lagos now. That is commendable.
Yes.
That is commendable. So they are not even looking at the threshold of 30,000. They are looking at, they've gone beyond, it said from January this year, that no civil servants in Lagos receive anything less than 70,000 minimum wage. Some states cannot pay 30,000. And not only paying 30,000, some of them are owing up to 6-8 months. And when they pay, you know what they do? When they pay 1 month, they say, I paid 1, I've paid 2 months. As if it's not their duty to be able to do. So coming back to what the 350,000, where now? But you don't blame them. NS started with 1 million. They moved to 500,000, 750,000. At the point we're talking about, I don't think what we need to do is the committee set up by government should be able to sit down with labor and agree on a sum that can be able to, that most of this, but I am not, my personal opinion has always been that leave the state to pay what they can pay. That has mean, this is the federation, for goodness sake.
Let the state negotiate.
Let the state negotiate. We are talking of Lagos State. You cannot compare Lagos State, Rivers State, your state, Akwa Ibom, Bayelsa State, Delta State, to Imo State. What do we have in Imo? Although we call us an oil producing state, what do we produce? What do we get from FAC?
CK, they are not talking about palm oil.
No, I'm not. That's exactly, or coal. So what I'm saying is that my personal opinion is that we should be able to shift this burden to the state government. Let them pay what they can be able to pay. Not somebody in Abuja will sit and say the minimum wage is 30,000. Let every state pay. And you are not doing anything to be able to. That is for the state. Now, what of the private sector? Mm-hmm. How many people are employed in the federal and the state by the state government? I don't think they're up to 30% of the workforce. The private sector is suffering now. The SMEs are dying. Most of these companies cannot be able to do what they're supposed to do. Companies are closing down. Mm-hmm. Electricity, power, and the rest of them. So it is not just waking up and saying, everybody just throwing the cat, believe it. But I think it's the high time. We heard that the president, on his 1-year anniversary speech on the 29th, or either 1st, which is Workers' Day, or 29th of May, is going to make a pronouncement with this. Until then, but I still believe that the best way to go about this is allow each state to be able to do what they can do. Okay. Not just somebody at the federal just giving a blanket, as in everybody pay, every state must pay 50, 100. When some state can still not pay 30,000. It's a problem for me.
The problem is any state that cannot pay salaries now, I think that governor should be held responsible. Because they are earning more now. They are getting more money.
Yeah. In addition to internally generated.
No, it depends on the state. Because you can't compare a state like Lagos and maybe Gombe, for instance. What is the internal revenue from the state? And another thing is the loans that they have collected over time.
Some of them.
Some of the governors. Because I remember Kaduna State Governor when he was complaining
and Cross River as well.
The loans that they are paying. At the end of the day, they can't even pay salaries because they are paying heavily for the loans that were collected back then by the previous government. So if you have states who are fulfilling their loan obligation, 30,000 can even be difficult for them. And they don't also want to sack. So what they will just be doing is just to try and see how they can manage it. I remember even Oshun, when Oyetola was there, he tried to pay salaries bit by bit, so that he will be able to have a kind of a balance, bit by bit, just like that. But there are some states that can't. For this association to say 350, I know they have looked at a lot of things. Inflation is about 33.2%, recently. And with the fuel subsidy, removal, the government is yet to roll out, the transportation. Some state governments are also doing palliatives, but it's still not enough. People still want something that they will say, okay, fine, I'm going to work, and at the end of the month, this is what I will collect. Because from there, they will
Nigerians are asking for a living wage.
Now, yes, if you are asking for a living wage, there are so many things that will be. Let the government, I know there are so many policies, that this government is trying to put in place. And I know at some point, there will be that point where living wage will come into force. Yeah. Because if you look at it, if you have a functional and a cheap transport system, goods and services, especially foodstuff, are cheap. Okay?
And you can afford them.
Yes. Wait, hold on. If you have all those things cheap and affordable, okay, when you are working, you can easily ask for living wage. You can ask for living wage. Because right now, what Nigerians are doing, Nigerians are not going to the market to buy things that they usually used to buy. Because all those things are out of reach. So people are just buying things because they want to survive.
Sorry, we have a call now from Abuja. I think, gentleman, Benga.
Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Yes.
Welcome.
Yes. I appreciate this for going to contribute to the discussion there, especially on this minimum wage. If they are asking for 350,000 naira to pay, I want to ask, is the only government institution that will pay this money? will the private sector and public sector be able to pay this money? For example, if a school is to pay the gate man, cleaner, 350,000 naira, then the civil servant who will collect this money should be ready to pay their school fees 10 times higher. Because it will cause inflation. Because like now I'm a private person, if I'm to pay my staff a cleaner 350,000, then it should be ready to pay my services. My price will increase by more than 500%. This will generate inflation.
Yeah.
And this is
Benga,
this is not only government.
Benga, we thank you very kindly. Thank you very much.
Those are some of the things
That's why we asked
look at.
If 350,000 naira is rational and sustainable.
Yes, because if you look at it, if with 350,000, I'm not sure it can even take you home if you are a family of 4 for a month. Yes, because you still have to pay your bills from it. You transport yourself. You pay school fees.
Your landlord is likely to hike.
Exactly. If it's a state that is collecting every month, like for house rent and things like that. If you are staying in a 3-bedroom, if you're on band A, or if you're on band A, it means you might not even get electricity. You understand? So there's a lot that this committee has to look at, so that they will be able to come out with something that is, affordable, or something that the government can easily, go on with, because the private sector will be involved. All right.
I hear we must apply the brakes here, but not before thanking Asukwa James for your time.
Thank you so much.
Chris Kinde Wando, we thank you very kindly too.
Thank you very much for having me.
This is where we draw the curtain on the show, but if you missed any part of this, not to worry. You may join us later tonight at 11 for a repeat broadcast. And of course, on Sunday, we'll give you a 2-hour stretch from 1:30 and 3:30. Just to inform you as well, we are on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Bye-bye now. Take care.